Sounds good.
All right, guys, welcome back to AMQF Dating. My name is Chung, and today I am joined by a very special guest. His name is Aisen Lee. He is an absolutely phenomenal dude. He's an Asian dating coach that just has a lot of experience and a lot of valuable knowledge and insight to share with us today. So, today we're going to be talking about really dating in the modern age, especially from the perspective of an Asian man. So, Aisen, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure, guys. Hey, what's up? Very excited to be on this podcast. Very grateful that you invited me on here, Chung. And yeah, my name is Aisen Lee, and I live in Austin, Texas. And currently, I help guys with confidence, mindset, and dating.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, man. So you're in Austin right now. What's the weather like?
It's kind of chilly today, actually, in the high 30s, low 40s currently.
Wow, wow, that's insane. There's a lot of Asian dudes in Austin.
There's a few, yeah, with the tech industries being here and University of Austin as well. University of
Gotcha.
Texas. I mean.
Is that where you went to school?
I actually went to Texas A&M, which is about an hour
Oh,
and a half away.
wow. Okay, okay. Well, let me ask you this, right? So obviously, you know, we know that you're very experienced, but we're talking about dating, especially from the perspective of an Asian dude. Why should anybody listen to us, and especially why should anybody listen to you?
Good question. Well, coming from my background being Asian and having some experience in this field, I feel like because I've gone through some struggles and tribulations as a kid, someone that's trying to date in the Western world, and someone that's been through the struggles, been friend zoned, been rejected,
Yeah.
had to figure it out by myself. I think it's way easier to get perspective from someone that's already done it than
Mhm.
try to do it yourself, and it's much more easier and much more faster as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate that, man. Well, let me ask you this. What ethnicity are you? Are you Korean?
No, I'm actually I was born in China.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm Chinese.
wow. When did you come to the US?
I came here when I was 9.
Okay. So that must have been a little bit tough trying to like learn English and stuff.
Yeah, so I was moving around a lot when I was a kid, bouncing around from Europe, China, and here. So, like, basically every few years I was moving. So, one thing I got good at through that was the ability to make friends quickly. But also, I was knowing that I was moved around, so I couldn't really maintain these relationships or go like deeper than
Yeah.
just being surface friends. So,
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate. That's something that I definitely, had to deal with. A lot of Asian guys were kind of seen as being shy or a little bit more introverted, right?
mm,
Maybe a lot of us aren't very assertive. And I kind of had to learn how to be more confident and talk to people. And it's like you get really good at talking to a whole bunch of people, but sometimes, like even when you can talk to people, you get a little bit jealous of people that have like lifelong friends. And it's like,
mm,
you have that one friend that you can just call. Yeah, but
sure,
I
yeah.
wanted to ask you. So, how old are you? You're
I'm
28, right?
28.
28.
Mhm.
Got you, got you. And if you can share, how many serious relationships have you been in?
Serious ones, not as much as I would like, but so I would say about 3 to 4 serious ones,
Hmm.
and yeah, so
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah, about 3 to 4. Okay. I mean, we. That's the thing. It's like some people I've noticed, especially in the modern age, a lot of people they're kind of going to stuff like the casual sex scene, and like I completely understand that, right? That's not something that I really believe in. From somebody that's been through that. And it's like, you learn so much when you're in like serious and long-term committed relationships. It's just
Sure.
like you grow with the other person.
I
Yeah.
agree, for sure.
Now I see that little poster behind you. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, so it says it takes one yes for success, right?
Hmm.
So it means a lot because a lot of times we get discouraged whenever it comes to, whether it be business or dating, and if you see that one opportunity, get that one yes, you feel like you're regenerated and you feel great again.
Yeah.
And, it does take just one person to form a great relationship with, and someone you
Yeah.
can marry, and from that bond, someone you can grow with. So I believe this is a very good model. And you see, if you can see like all the other stuff, it says failure, 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 failure,
Yeah.
and then in the middle it says takes one yes for success.
Yeah, no, I don't know, like when I was watching your videos and when I saw, when we had our little call, I don't know, I really appreciated like the growth mindset that you have. I think that's really, I think that's really attractive and really, like positive. And if you see like behind here, right, you're probably like, man, what is all that? It's kind of ugly, right? So the top left one says finances, the top right one says physique, the bottom
Mhm.
left says love, and the bottom right says fulfillment. And it's like a daily reminder to myself, of the things that matter to me and the things that I want to work on, you know.
Beautiful. I love
Yeah,
it.
and it kind of have you ever heard of the 80/20 rule?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Pareto's principle.
exactly. Do you use it in your business and in your life?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I have found, like, because I used to be, and I think a lot of Asians would relate to that. I used to be, super like, aesthetic, like the study blurs and stuff like that, and just like so, like following guys like you've heard of Ali Abdal.
Sorry.
Have you heard of Ali Abdal?
No.
He's like I think he's Indian. He's over in like the UK or something. But basically, you know how like Asians we love to study, like we're big on
Right.
studying or like
Intelligent
med school and
people.
stuff like that. It just a lot of times, like especially growing up, maybe your parents did this to you, but they would be like they'd be so focused on like how perfect your handwriting was.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like damn, it's like you're so focused on these little things, it's like
Mhm.
you don't realize, so much like the majority of the results you get in life come from 20% of the things that you actually focus on. And some too many times we focus on the things that don't matter, the superficial
Mhm.
things. Yeah. So let's go ahead and I want to ask you this. Now, this might be a little bit weird, but I love to compliment my brothers because we don't get complimented enough, right? Whether you're Asian or whether you're a dude. So, what is it like being so fucking sexy, dude?
Ah, you're so funny. I'm humbled. I'm flattered. You know, I guess I work on my looks a lot more
Mhm.
than most people would think because a lot of it has to do with me, my background as a model, and I really took advantage of my health and my looks and took advantage of learning the knowledge of maintaining good health, good physique, and try to have a good skin, right?
Yeah.
So it takes work, man. If you've seen some of my pictures in my earlier days, like in high school, earlier in college, wasn't the most attractive person,
Yeah.
and also like you said mentioned earlier about the handwriting stuff. I remember, my dad used to help me with my handwriting, and really, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, meaning that what he thought was beautiful, my mom thought was chicken shit. Like she was like, "Okay, don't learn from him." So it's really objective, right? Some people might think
Yeah.
some people might think I look disgusting, or like some people might think that I look like an alien, right? It's
Mhm.
all perception, right? And as long as you are happy with the way you look, and that's what really matters. That's how you gain your confidence, gain your empowerment.
Yeah, because I know, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people like they'll look up to, like the influencers online or like the people with like the really pretty aesthetics, or especially like they'll look up to like models and they'll be like, oh my God, I wish that I looked like this model. But it's the
Yeah,
funniest thing that I realized, especially, not like a humble brag or anything. I'm surrounded by, I would consider very beautiful women. I've dated a lot of beautiful women, as I'm sure you have as well. And the funny thing you realize is that, some like a lot of these girls and a lot of, models are very insecure about their own looks.
100%. Yeah.
Is that something that you relate to?
Yes, definitely, man. Whenever I was modeling in LA for 2 years, I was the most insecure I've ever felt in my life, mainly
Yeah.
because I was compared to everyone else that I thought were more perfect than me.
Yeah.
Guys, or they looked like me. They had the same kind of look. Same height, maybe even a little taller, right? More
Yeah.
better skin, sometimes better physique,
Yeah.
or like more aesthetically pleasing to look at. I'm just like, damn, like I want to be like that
Yeah.
guy.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy. There's like
yeah,
that's the thing about, like thing with dating or like, like stuff like that. It's like or just mindset really. There's always going to be somebody that's prettier. There's always going to be somebody that's, bigger, more buff, that has more money, things like that. But it's like, I like me personally, I think that, happiness comes, when you stop comparing yourself to other people and rather improving yourself compared to the person you were yesterday, but also being able to appreciate the things that you do have. Would you agree?
yes, most definitely. Being grateful, that's how you get more, right? It's instead of trying to be better or get more stuff, be grateful for the things you have. Because if you do have that mindset. If you have the mindset of trying to get the next shiny object or meet the next goal, then you're always going to be chasing after that
Yeah,
thing, and you're never going to be happy, truly happy. Whereas like if
yeah,
you're comfortable and confident in things you have, then that's what's going to make you happy.
yeah. No, I love that. I feel like you're a very mature, very emotionally mature dude. I think that's awesome, man.
Thank you, man. I think you are as well, for especially for your age.
I appreciate it, dude. No, I'm like, I mean, I'm only 22, I'm still learning a lot, but it's one of those things, it's like I had like I didn't have the best, like parenthood. Like I didn't have the best, like biological parents and stuff. So like you kind of have to parent yourself, right? And I feel like,
Most
a lot
definitely.
of Asian guys have to as well, especially since like, in the Asian community, like a lot of things can be very taboo. I think like, did you have like I think you described it in Sam's podcast. Did you have like or like his interview? Did you have a tiger mom?
My mom was more chill. My dad was
Yeah.
more so like the one that's more disciplined. And but I learned fast and learned early on that because I couldn't meet his expectations as a kid. I felt that it was okay to fail because
Hmm.
I was already not good enough at the time. So might as well just do whatever I felt comfortable doing because
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna earn his respect as a kid.
Yeah.
And that's actually a good lesson for me to learn at the time because I learned that it was okay to fail. It was okay to do things differently. And it was okay not to please everyone.
Yeah. Well, did you ever have like a rebel stage growing up?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm still like going through that.
I feel like a lot of Asians do because, like, like a lot of Asians, if you look at immigrants, I think that they're very traditional, but a lot of times the kids, like, like I think they call it ABCs, American born Chinese,
Mhm.
like they'll be a little bit more, westernized and, they'll kind of clash with their parents. A lot of them will love their parents, but a lot of them will kind of like run away from the family or like,
Mhm.
just, be pushed out, just that clash of cultures. Have you ever seen
100%.
that? Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, were you, tell me more about your background.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so me personally, right? My biological parents, I've been through, tough stuff like anybody, right? And I come from kind of an experience that is a lot tougher than most people. I come from the country of Myanmar. Have you heard it?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it's like so basically there's a whole bunch of bad stuff happening over there. A lot of politics, like a lot of the easiest way to sum it up would be war crimes and human genocide.
Mhm.
And my family and I, we were war refugees, right? So we were immigrants, and we came to Florida when I was like 4 years old. And like for the longest time I used to hate my dad because he was so strict, like a lot of other immigrant parents are, right? But
Mhm.
when you grow up and you start to take care of yourself and you start to put yourself in the shoes of your parents, you start to realize that they were just doing the best they could with what they had, right?
Sure, yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, like, have you ever had that realization yourself?
Oh yeah, all the time. Growing up, I get it. Like even in high school, I understood like why they wanted me to go a certain path. Go and be an engineer because that's what they did. And
Yeah.
I was talking to my mom. I was like, "Hey, if you guys were like professional athletes, and I probably would have been the professional athlete because you would have known how to pave the way for me.
Hmm.
But since we don't have that luxury, I might as well just do some things that you know how to do and do it well."
Yeah. I think Asians were very family oriented, which can be a very good thing. But a lot of Asians, we can take it a little bit too far.
How do you
Yeah.
mean by that?
Like some Asians, they just are way too strict.
Yeah, on
It's
themselves
like
or on their families?
on their families, but also like I think we learn it on ourselves as well. Like because in Asian culture, like me personally, right? When I was younger, like one of the things that my biological father did, he would always say stuff like, no girls, no girls, no girls until
Mhm,
you're a doctor and successful,
mhm.
and that's like if you know about pre-med, that's like no girls until you're 35 and you're
Pretty
like
much,
past your residency. I was like, that was insane,
yeah.
and it's like, so exactly, like as soon as I turned 18 and I got my own car and I got into
Mhm.
college, I went the complete opposite route, which I feel like a lot of Asians, kind of raised in the West kind of do.
Yeah, makes sense for sure.
Yeah. Did you have any good Asian role models or like any Asian guys that you just looked up to growing up aside from your parents?
Mm, well, I would say that I took away good traits from different people. not really one in particular. I guess my biggest role model, was Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
because he was also an immigrant, but and he made it work in America
Mhm.
through hard work and discipline. And um, I don't know, man. Just I guess I used to watch this guy. I don't know if you heard of this guy. His name is Chris Theodis. He used to
No, I
have a
haven't.
channel called Good Looking Loser on YouTube. He's half Japanese, half Greek. So
Mhm.
he talks about being like half Asian in America and how he had to like endure differences that he had to go through, and he was kind of like learning good role model because he was a few years older than me then, and I kind of took away a lot of information from him as well.
Yeah, and he had a
Yeah.
YouTube channel?
He had a YouTube channel. Yeah, I don't know what he's up to these days. He's like in
Yeah.
his 40s now.
Wow, wow. Well, let me ask you this, right? And it sounds kind of weird, right? But I feel like a lot of, Asians, especially growing up in the US, would kind of relate to it. But did you ever feel kind of weird? Like, did you ever feel ashamed to be Asian?
Yeah, of course. I grew up in a very white high school,
Mhm.
pretty typical. Like, the movies, it's kind of like 70% white, and there's the jocks, or the cheerleaders, or the
Mhm.
geeks, right? And we used to sit in on different sides of tables, right? We on at lunchtime. There used to be a table just for like the Asian kids, and everyone else. I definitely felt segregated, but I felt more related to other people of other races, like immigrants from other countries, like
Mhm.
Middle Eastern countries, Russia, Eastern European countries, or even like African countries, because I was also an immigrant. And
Yeah.
I just, even with the Asian kids, they felt I was different. They ostracized my ass.
Like we're laughing, but it's so sad. I'm
It's
sorry, dude.
true, yeah. They're like, "Oh, yeah, I was born here. Where are you from?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just came from Europe. What's up? Teach me how to speak English, man."
That's tough,
Yeah.
man. No,
So
that's very real. That's very real.
yeah, it's different, man. Every step of the way. I felt I was more accepted in Europe than in China or in America
Oh, you
growing
lived in
up.
Europe?
I was in Europe for about I don't know, like 4 to 6 years. I can't count.
Wow. That's
Well, it's
that's
like
cool.
small amounts of time, and then like I moved back. So yeah, I felt more welcome there, and moving back to China when I was 6, I didn't speak Chinese very well, so they were talking trash to me, and they tried to
Yeah.
bully me, and eventually I stood up for myself after 2 years,
Yeah.
and held my place and had my own place there.
Yeah. I'm sorry you went through that.
No, it's okay. It's definitely a learning process and growing process as well.
Yeah. Let's I want to talk about for a moment. I want to talk about Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Bruce Lee growing up?
He was a hero, definitely, to a
Mhm.
lot of people. Definitely a legend and a good role model. But um, the fact that he did martial arts and that's what he was really known for was wasn't the best representation for us, because
Mhm.
what if we don't do martial arts, right? We can't be like
Yeah.
Bruce Lee. We can't be cool. We can't get the girls, right? We
Yeah.
can't get their respect. So I feel like nowadays a lot of people do practice UFC or mixed martial arts because of him,
Mhm.
because they see that the respect that he's gotten.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's other ways without using force to gain respect and gain status in the
Mhm.
Western world. And I feel like we should find other ways to do that as well.
Yeah. The reason why I bring up Bruce Lee, and it's kind of like, something that I noticed in myself growing up, right? So, you said that you kind of grew up, surrounded by white people. And America is, mostly white, which is understandable. But I grew up here in the South, right? I grew up in Louisiana, and I was surrounded by black people, right? My schools were entirely black. So, of course, faced a lot of racism and stuff like that. But I would remember, I would always get, bullied and stuff. And they would use, like the ching chang chong jokes, right? Or they,
Yeah.
they'd be like the what's up, like the Bruce Lee stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it was very interesting because and this is something that a lot of people don't realize about Bruce Lee. When he was in America, like he was fighting both, like the Western and the East, right? And I think in Hong Kong, I don't know if you know, but he actually wasn't very accepted.
Yeah, he's quarter white.
Yeah, like they didn't really like him. So like he constantly had to battle people, but like so many people respect him. But you're definitely right. That whole martial arts aspect has definitely been used as a stereotype against a lot of Asian dudes.
Mhm.
But like Bruce Lee, like I don't know if you know this, but he used to be a huge sex symbol. Girls
Mm.
loved him.
I
It,
did
it,
not know
like if you watch his interviews and you actually like look up like some of his history, he was loved by the girls, and like he was super confident in his interviews, and like he was like a big philosopher and all this
that.
stuff.
Yeah, for
It was
sure.
insane. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. So yeah, so let me go ahead and ask you another question here. So, in regards to dating and stuff like that, right? So, aside from looks, what are three things that you feel make you more attractive to women, that maybe a lot of other guys don't, consider often?
Hmm. Three things, man. That's tough, man. Because looks is pretty big when it comes to attraction for guys because we're
Mhm.
more physical and girls are more emotional. But for me, I can think of two things off the top of my head, and these are confidence, number one, and number two is having the right mindset, being open minded.
Yeah, that you think that's two things that you have that make you more attractive.
100%, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
say let's say confidence. Let's say if a girl approaches me to begin with, and that's very confident, and
Hmm.
I definitely would give them the time of day to talk to them and see what they're about.
Yeah.
Even if they're not like the most physically pleasing person,
Hmm.
I want to get to know them better, right? Because it takes a lot of guts, even for guys to approach girls,
Yeah.
and for a
Yeah.
girl to approach a guy that's intimidating looking. That's a lot. Takes a
Yeah.
lot.
There's like so much that we could go into that into that aspect there, but I want to kind of talk about confidence, right? Because everybody like
Mhm.
pretty much confidence is attractive. If you want to be good with girls, you have to be confident, right?
Right,
But
right.
what would you say, like, what is the meaning of true confidence in your opinion?
Hmm. Being okay with yourself, loving yourself, and being okay with failure.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. And okay, well, were you always confident, or did you kind of develop that?
I had to be confident growing up, or I wasn't really confident, but I should have been, because I don't know, I was more quiet and shy, but
Hmm.
I knew that people aren't gonna like me regardless, so I'm just gonna be myself,
Hmm.
unapologetically myself, and that's when I think throughout college or like even in high school, like junior year, I was being more confident in myself and just being having that personality show up more in day to day like occurrences. So I just learned that because I wasn't gonna please everyone, and people are gonna hate me no matter what I do. There's
Yeah.
always gonna be like hate, like Asian people are gonna hate me, black people are gonna hate me,
Hmm.
white people are gonna hate me.
Yeah.
Even like going hopping around tables at lunchtime. I used to sit with like, football kids because I was in sports. I played 4 sports in high school. And then I
Nice.
would go to like the Asian table like the next day. And then like everyone else would be like, hey, like where'd you go yesterday? I was like, oh, my buddy's over there. It's like I can't have like different cliques.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna be by myself, like be who I am and do me. And if you don't accept me, then I'll just, find someone that will.
Yeah. Well, let's go kind of dive into that second thing that you brought up, right? So
Mhm.
being open-minded, what does that kind of mean to you?
Just meaning that they have the mindset of growth and being open to new things. So I haven't done a lot of things in my life that I want to do yet. So, and I want someone there with me to experience
Yeah.
those things.
Have you ever, because you're a pretty confident guy, right? Have you ever gone dancing?
Dancing, yeah, yeah, I go dancing all the time, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be like the pros. I'm just gonna dance like I don't know what I'm doing, but try to
Yeah.
get the rhythm and have a good time.
Okay. Okay. You ever do partner dancing?
No, I don't know. I have trouble learning how to dance well. I have trouble learning the steps, to be honest.
Yeah.
One thing I learned was the waltz, and that was for college dance for a fraternity sorority dance thing.
Yeah.
But
No, that's
my
that's kind
mom,
of, yeah.
she's been
Go
teaching
ahead.
me. She's been trying to teach me it ever since I was, in high school because she's really good at dancing.
You said your
Semi-professional
mom?
at shows. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. That's
I
awesome.
can like swing, two-step, country. So I'm just like, hey, like I tried. I'm
Yeah.
the best teacher here. I, I I don't know. dancing might not be my forte, but I can move with the rhythm and have a good time.
No, I think that's awesome. And that's actually the thing, right? So I talk about dancing, right? And that's actually part of my dating strategy, right? Because I've met so many people that are absolutely gorgeous, absolutely stunning and absolutely amazing, like social skills, confident, everybody likes them. But the minute you ask them to dance, so many of these people kind of shell up and they get really scared, right? And it's crazy. So I kind of like that's the thing about dancing is like no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, like dancing is something that you can learn, right? And
Yeah,
it's like a lot of people don't realize this, but dancing is a very masculine, and it's something that like girls like I would say most girls, if not all girls, are very attracted to guys that dance.
100%.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because dancing equals sex. The way you move your body with your clothes on equates to the way you move your body with your clothes off.
Yeah, a lot of women do attribute sex to dancing, but also I think a big part of it is also being able to make a woman comfortable.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something, they kind of like a lot of people that follow stuff like the pickup artist community or seduction. And I think, we can learn things from that. And I think you kind of agree with me that you don't associate with those communities.
I do not, yeah, but there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. I think like a lot of things, like in regards to, stuff like, seduction and stuff like that, like or polarizing women, it can work absolutely, absolutely. And if you study it and you get really good at it, it can work. But I don't think it's the foundation for a very healthy, and meaningful
And
relationship.
I agree, man. You can study it and learn how to be a different person, but at the end of the day, that's not the person that you are. So and you can't make someone fall in love with someone else, right? It's
Yeah.
not true. It's not honest.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the concept of falling in love, right? Because that's something that everybody hears. Like falling in love is kind of so natural to say, but it's
Mhm.
actually something that I've kind of learned. Talking to a lot of different people, reading books and stuff, and it's like you don't want to fall in love because it kind of hurts. You want to grow in love. Have you ever
Mm,
thought about that?
hmm. Yeah, I've never thought about it. It's very good,
Yeah.
interesting perception for sure.
Yeah, there's kind of a thing that kind of I think it's like that's the thing about love. It's like love isn't something like. Do you believe in love at first sight?
I believe in lust at first sight.
Exactly right. I
It
feel
takes
like
growth for love. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, love is to me. I feel like it's a conscious decision.
Mhm.
Especially if you talk with a lot of like marriage, a lot of married couples that are happily married.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, I've heard them say, the secret, a lot of their secrets is like, you never want to fall out of love at the same time,
Mhm.
because, if you've, been in long-term relationships, you realize, there's going to be times where you guys have conflict.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, being that you've been in some, serious relationships, do you have because obviously, you're pretty good with girls and stuff. Do you have any tips for like, things like conflict resolution?
Conflict resolution, just talking, man, talking, communicating, and hearing the other side. And a lot of times it is a miscommunication. A lot of times girls might feel insecure with certain things you might have said, and it's a miscommunication because you might have not wanted to come off that way, and it just happened that you did. And reassurance, affirmations, reassurance, finding out their love languages, and try to hear them out.
Yeah. Now I know that you've kind of studied MBTI in the past. And I understand that you used to be like you were typed as a INTJ like several years
Yes,
ago.
yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you're like a what is it, an ENFP now?
Yeah. Very different, huh?
Yeah.
Good
How,
research. Nice. Good job.
how do you I do. I mean, can you tell I'm Asian? Do your research? No,
I need to.
I'm an ENTJ. I like to be very, very like very prepared.
Mhm.
Like a lot of ENTJs. But I don't know. Like I feel like INTJs. You guys are kind of like the more chaotic like version of ENTJs. Like I feel like MBTI is it's who you are, but it's your natural stress state, right? So I feel
Mm,
like if you were an INTJ, but now you're typed as an ENFP, my girlfriend's an INFP, right?
mm,
It tells me that you're a lot more empathetic, you're a lot more emotionally aware, a lot more mature emotionally. Is that something that you feel that has changed over the past 10 years or so in you?
Yeah, I definitely feel more connected. I used to be very bad with expressing emotions and understanding them because I might have not gone through that and growing up in a family that is very like tough. My parents are tough people. You know, I've never seen my dad cry ever in my life,
Wow.
um, and people that internalize their emotions instead of like communicating it and letting it out.
Yeah.
It's took a toll on my emotional being. So I had to learn how to be vulnerable, how to express my emotions, and I guess being with a lot of people and understanding, like meeting a lot of people, really helped me understand their state of mind and like what they're going through as well. Um, Hearing their stories and such.
Yeah. No, no, that's pretty deep, and I think that a lot of guys that aren't good with girls, I think that they think that you have to be super macho or super masculine, and it kind of goes into like stuff like toxic masculinity and stuff like that,
Right.
which I think there's a level of truth to that. But it's like people don't realize, and I feel like you understand this. People don't realize that girls are very emotional, like they're very emotionally driven, but they're also very relational, right? They care a lot about people. They're really nurturing. Is that something that you've kind of noticed?
I do. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like a lot of guys, especially guys that are getting into understanding how to talk to women, are getting into dating. They might think that they have to be super macho, super masculine, super aggressive, or even physically built in order to attract these women, which is
Yeah,
not true, right? Like I'm not the most physically built guy. I dress
yeah.
like I'm 13 years old. Almost. That's like a metrosexual person. That's the thing. And as long as you're comfortable with yourself, a lot of times it's not being tough guy. It's being able to show your weaknesses and being okay with that,
Mhm.
being vulnerable with your weaknesses and downfalls. And that's what's most attractive because it shows that you're real and you're not afraid and you have control of your emotions. Your
Yeah.
emotions. Mhm.
Do you feel like in the Asian community, like mental health is something that we don't really, consider too often?
Yes, mental health is huge, and we need to definitely put a stress on it because a lot of guys and girls go into so much stress and they don't know how to process it. They can't talk to anyone about it because their parents might make fun of them or just tell them to push along, and they commit a lot of suicide in the years
Yeah.
after high school.
Yeah, I think definitely, a lot of Asians, people don't really talk about it too much, especially in the Asian community, but I feel like a lot of Asians, there's that saying, right? No matter what you do, there's always going to be an Asian that can do it better. But it comes at a trade-off, right? It happens because we traumatize our kids, like we put so much pressure on them to get
Mhm.
the A+, right? You can't even get an A-, you got to be an
Right,
A+.
right.
You have to be in Harvard and stuff like that. You have to be at the best of the best, and it comes with the benefits of, like, Asian societies. They progress the fastest in regards to STEM fields, right? But
Mhm.
and it also helps out that in the West and just around the world, I've noticed Asian men are the richest demographic in the world. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed that, but we don't spend our money. That's why we're richest, man. We don't spend money.
No, I didn't even think about that, but that does sound that is true. We have, like, big savings accounts and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, we focus on those things, and I think that is important because I feel like, society, the in regards to, they kind of pull it from red pill, right? Which I try not to go too deep into, but it's your SMV, or, like, what your value is in the dating marketplace, right? For men, it's your ability to protect and provide, and for women, it's her beauty and her ability to nurture. Oftentimes, would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's basically true. A lot of girls, especially in their late 20s, are looking for a guy with a steady job, with a car, with a house,
Hmm.
or with the apartment that um, it's a requirement because they want to make sure that they can be, they have someone to depend on financially and in a time of stress. Whereas like guys, we just want, someone that we can trust, someone that's loyal, and someone that's attractive mostly.
Yeah. And I think that that's the thing is, like, Asians, we kind of, a lot of people, they'll say that, and there's a level of truth to that Asians struggle the most in regards to dating. If you look at the statistics and stuff, But the funny thing is, like if you look at those two things, right, the ability to protect and provide, Asians can provide, right? So we
Mhm.
already know that we're like the richest. So I feel like what we really need to focus on is being more assertive, being more
Mhm.
confident, and speaking up for ourselves and standing up for ourselves, but also being able to be, physically capable of defending, our women, our families, and our communities.
Right, right. And a lot of times we don't realize that we can provide and protect because we don't show it and we're not confident in our abilities to do that.
Yeah,
And when it comes to say protecting the family, um, well, we're not confrontational people. That's
yeah,
not what we're taught to do. That's why a lot of times, even if someone that has less accolades or less money would feel more confident than someone that's Asian that has all of these money and all these accolades and whatever.
yeah,
That's something that I want to change the mindset of.
yeah,
A lot of times, like I could say right now, like I am the most eligible bachelor, Asian bachelor in all of Austin, Texas, and that's true because number one, I believe it, and number two,
yeah,
no one's gonna fight for the title.
yeah.
And even if they are like better than me, like in whichever way, right? They're not confident enough to like claim it. So I'm claiming the title.
Oh man, unless you met me like 3 months ago before I started dating my girl,
Yeah, then
then
we'll
we'd
have
be
a
fine.
little
Then we'd be
friendly
competing.
competition.
No, I think competition is good. It
Mm,
just it helps each other improve and stuff.
right.
And of course, there's kind of the kind of thing that I have you on here, right? So I'm not really an Asian dating coach. I think I might go into that. I'm not sure yet, because people have been asking me. But
Mhm,
I know you're an Asian dating coach, right? So how do we make sure that like because I want to lift you up and as well as the other people in the Asian community that are speaking about this kind of stuff because there's not a lot, right? How can we make sure that we're not like competing against each other? Like
mhm.
what sets you different from other like dating coaches, especially in the Asian community?
Well, for me, I think mindset is the most important key when it comes to dating. And what I really work on is mindset and trauma healing. So
Mhm.
a lot of times, guys will come to me and they have this issue of insecurity or that stem from their childhood, and I really go in depth and really solve that and try to see why is it causing it and how can we overcome that.
Mhm.
And once that's that rock is lifted, we can definitely work on other things as well. And a lot of things that I work on with these guys is can translate to other areas other than just dating. Translate to like family relationships, definitely job wise. They're more assertive at work. They're not getting um, pushed on like all the work pushed onto them, and they're able to stand up for themselves and just be more happier and be more vocal in
Yeah.
other places as well. And I do a very personal approach. So a lot of times guys might do something more cookie cutter, right? More generic, but I focus on the individual and their needs first because I do have a lot of experience working with guys, and I've definitely like had my own phases as well. So I understand where people are coming from, and changing from an introverted person to an extroverted person, it
Mhm.
takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of
Yeah.
growth. So I know both sides, I understand both sides, and I think that's what really differentiates me from others. And the fact that I I live in many countries and
Yeah.
culturally diverse, I would say. Even like genetically, I'm genetically, 50% Chinese and Mongolian, Korean, all of that stuff, and even a little bit of white. So
Mhm.
I get, different cultures. So yeah,
Yeah.
not trying to brag too much now, but yeah, I'm
No,
trying to be
no, this
humble.
is your
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I just want to really help whoever that wants to be helped, right? I don't want to, force something down someone's throat without them wanting it.
No,
Not
I,
trying to make a sexual joke here
I really,
either.
no, I really, I really like that about you. Is you've got a very calm, very calming, very chill vibe. I really like that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no need to stress. Try to have my stress down to a minimum.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome, man. I'm a very energetic guy. I've got a lot of energy. Maybe that's just my age. But I don't know, it's just one of those things, like Asian masculinity and also, just like, you know, helping other Asians, see that, hey, we're sexy too, right? Like, we're masculine, we're men, like, and we need to act that way, and we need to be more assertive, in
Mhm.
healthy ways. And it's like, I think that's something that the Asian community really needs, especially, nowadays. I feel like Asian representation, that's something that I'm really passionate about, has been, increasing, but it's one of those things that I feel like, yes, it's increasing, but if we don't keep pushing it forward, it's going to go right back down.
Yeah,
What do you
100%.
think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's why we gotta promote or like help guys that want to be seen in the media, in mainstream, whatever, right? That want to be artists, that want to be actors,
Hmm.
and that's what's pushing me to become an actor eventually, because I'm just like, hey, we need more, and what can I do to help in this field, right? I have a little bit of acting experience. I'm like, hey, maybe I could do some good for the community, right?
Yeah.
Step up, even though I don't really like acting, like it's just like it's something I want to do for the community to have more representation and shed a better light on our race.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, right? So obviously you're an Asian dating coach. How does somebody go about, working with you or booking a session with you?
Yeah, first, just feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or send me an email. I'm always checking them, and we can talk more. Understand where you come from, and see what I can do to help. I mean, I might not help everyone, not be able to help everyone because of their needs and different circumstances, but I'll try to understand what this person's going through, and then give them some suggestions, or potentially take them on as a client or student.
Yeah. And obviously, like obviously you're a pretty busy person. You've got your own clients. Like, what does an ideal client look like for you?
Someone that wants to learn. Someone that's open-minded, for sure. That's the key, man. If someone that's stuck in their ways, or like, hey, I'm gonna listen to this part, but I'm not gonna implement it, then it's not gonna work, right? Someone that has to, listen to it, and I guess like be open to learning about different things. They're whatever they might have been told might not work at this point in life, and getting a fresh perspective might help them progress in their dating life. So
Mhm.
someone that's open minded, someone that's willing to learn, and someone that's doesn't aren't scared to implement the things that they learned.
Yeah, growth mindset is really important. Yeah. So, yeah, before we go ahead and stop the recording here, I want to, because I really believe in, being a positive role model, being a positive influence in the lives of other people, but also, in the lives of the younger generations, right? The leaving something, for the next generation. So, what is something that, you wish that, you would have heard of you, or wish that you would have had somebody told you when you were a kid?
Hmm. Oh man, that's a good question. I
Yeah.
do. I like your interview a lot, man. Like interviews are great. You
I
ask
appreciate you.
questions, making them feel comfortable to answer them. So I'm curious, what about you? Like, so talk to me about that while I think about it for a little bit.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I think for me, there's so many things that I wish that I could, say to myself when I was younger. But also at the same time, it's kind of a catch-22, because it's like, if I knew, like, if I changed the past, I wouldn't be the person I am today, right? But I think, one of the things that I wish that, I heard of, and especially I think that a lot of Asian dudes can relate, or just men in general, is that, um, that feeling of like you're never going to be enough. And I think that, you are enough, and it's
Mhm.
okay. And we're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, most definitely. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's definitely something that I guess most girls, even a lot of girls, deal with that. They feel
Hmm.
like they're not enough, and they feel like they're not good enough, and it's a constant battle. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And for guys, for Asian guys, because we are told that we're not good at certain ages of our life, certain stages, and we're always compared to other guys that are better than us, and never really been praised for our achievements, but more so for our getting 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 scolded for our um, mishaps, or inconsistencies, or even like wrongdoings, right? So we
Yeah.
definitely need something or someone to tell us that we're good enough. That's why our white counterparts are more confident than us, because as parents, they were telling their kids that, hey, Johnny, you're doing a good job. Keep on doing it. Keep on trying, right? You're doing okay. It's okay. You're doing good. No worries. You got this. I believe in you, son, right? Things like that. And whereas like our parents like, hey, you fucked up. You just started. Where are you going? Why you not do good? Right? So why you not get A's? Why this boy get A's, huh? No video games for you, right?
Mm,
So it's like instead of promoting growth, it's like we're coming from a place of fear. It's like, oh man, I hope I don't get a B on this test because my dad's gonna take away these privileges, right?
yeah.
Whereas like for other kids, they're like, hey, it's okay to get a B because I'm gonna get better next time. I'm
Mhm.
gonna get an A next time, right? But what I thought about was I wish that someone told me as a kid was that not everyone's gonna like you, and that's okay because not every girl is gonna like you, but there's a girl in every type of girls that's gonna find you super attractive.
Mhm. Wow.
Meaning that let's say that whatever you're into brunette girls, right? Not
Mhm.
every brunette girl is gonna be attracted to you. Not every like rave girl is gonna be attracted to you. Not every blonde girl is gonna be attracted to you. But there's a blonde girl, there's a brunette girl, there's a rave girl. At least one is gonna be super attractive to you and find you attractive.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful, man. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This was Eisen Lee and Chung. Thank you again for being on here. We're gonna stop the recording here, but thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video. So let me go ahead and